They thought it was just a shortcut. But when the road kept going and the signs stopped making sense, they realized they were trapped in a place that didn't exist on any map. Jake and his friends were on a cross-country road trip when they decided to take a shortcut through the back roads. The GPS had led them onto a narrow, winding highway that seemed to stretch endlessly into the horizon. At first, it was fine, just another empty road. But after hours of driving, they noticed something strange. The same landmarks kept appearing. A rusted mailbox, a broken-down barn, a lone oak tree. "We've passed that tree 3 times, Jake," said, his voice tense. His friends laughed it off, but the laughter died when they realized the gas gauge was stuck. No matter how far they drove, it never went down. The sun never set, either. It hung low in the sky, casting an eerie orange glow over the landscape. They tried turning around, but the road only led them forward. Every exit they took looped them back to the same highway. Panic set in when they saw a sign that read, "Welcome to nowhere. Population, you." Hours turned into days. They ran out of food and water, but they never felt hungry or thirsty. The car never broke down, and they never grew tired. It was as if time had stopped. Years later, locals claimed to see a car driving endlessly down that same highway, its passengers staring out with hollow eyes. Some say it's a ghost story, others swear it's real, but one thing's for sure: if you ever find yourself on that road, don't take the shortcut. At first, it was just a pair of headlights in the distance. But when the truck started getting closer, they realized it wasn't just following them, it was hunting them. Emma and her best friend, Lily, were driving home from a music festival late at night. The highway was deserted, the kind of quiet that makes you feel like you're the only ones awake in the world. That's when they noticed the truck. It was far behind them at first, just a pair of bright headlights in the rearview mirror. But as the miles stretched on, the truck started gaining on them. Emma sped up, but the truck matched her speed. Every time she changed lanes, it followed. Every time she slowed down, it got closer. Lily tried to stay calm, but her voice trembled as she said, "What does it want?" The truck's headlights were blinding now, filling the car with an unnatural light. Emma's hands gripped the wheel as she pushed the car to its limit. But no matter how fast she drove, the truck stayed right behind them, its engine roaring like a beast. Finally, they saw an exit and took it, hoping to lose the truck. But as they pulled into a gas station, the truck followed. It parked a few spaces away, its engine idling. The windows were tinted so they couldn't see the driver. Emma and Lily sat frozen, too afraid to move. After what felt like an eternity, the truck's engine revved, and it sped off into the night. Relieved, they got out of the car to stretch their legs. That's when they saw it scratched into the side of their car were the words, "Next time, I won't stop." They never saw the truck again, but Emma still refuses to drive at night. And whenever she sees headlights in her rearview mirror, she can't help but wonder if it's the same truck waiting for its next hunt. It was the kind of road where you could drive for hours and see nothing but darkness. But when they picked up the hitchhiker, they realized they weren't alone and they never would be again. Sarah and her boyfriend, Mark, were driving through the desert on a moonless night. The road was empty, the kind of emptiness that makes you feel like you're the last people on Earth. The radio had been playing static for hours, and the silence was starting to get to them. That's when they saw her, a young woman in a white dress, standing on the side of the road, her thumb out. Mark slowed down. "Should we pick her up?" he asked. Sarah hesitated. Something felt off, but the woman looked harmless, even desperate. They pulled over, and the woman climbed into the back seat without a word. She was pale, her hair stringy, and her eyes hollow. When Sarah asked her name, she simply said, "Emily." For the next hour, Emily didn't speak. She just stared out the window, her hands folded neatly in her lap. Sarah tried to make small talk, but the woman's silence was unnerving. Finally, Mark pulled into a gas station to refuel. When Sarah turned around to ask Emily if she needed anything, the back seat was empty. They searched the car, the gas station, even the surrounding area. There was no sign of her. The cashier at the station looked at them like they were crazy when they asked if he'd seen a woman in a white dress. "You're the only ones who've stopped here in hours," he said. Shaken, they got back on the road. That's when Sarah noticed something on the back seat. A small, crumpled photograph. It was an old Polaroid of a woman in a white dress, standing on the side of the road. On the back, written in faded ink, were the words, "Emily, 1978, missing." They never saw Emily again, but Sarah swears she still feels her presence every time they drive through the desert at night. As we reflect on these stories, it's impossible not to think about the aftermath. How did these travelers cope with the trauma they experienced on the open road? How did they rebuild their lives after facing true horror? For some, the experience was a wake-up call, a reminder to appreciate the beauty of the world around them. For others, it was a descent into madness, a never-ending cycle of fear and anxiety. But what's clear is that these experiences had a profound impact on the travelers involved. They were forced to confront the unknown, to face the darkness that lurks just beneath the surface of our everyday lives. And as we reflect on these stories, we're left with a deep sense of unease. We're forced to confront the unpredictability of the open road, the knowledge that even in the most mundane of moments, horror can lurk just around the corner. So the next time you're on a road trip, remember these stories. Remember the terror that lurks in the shadows, the unexplained phenomena that can strike at any moment. And if you're feeling brave, share your own road trip horror stories in the comments below. Who knows, you might just inspire our next video. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the heart of darkness. If you want more chilling content, be sure to check out our next video, where we'll be exploring the creepiest haunted hotels in the country. Until next time, stay safe on the open road.